What if your entire life is a lie? Not a little white lie. I'm talking full-blown simulation. Sounds insane, right? Like some sci-fi plot cooked up in Hollywood. But here's the kicker. This idea is ancient. Long before the Matrix, Plato gave us the allegory of the cave, where people live chained in darkness, mistaking flickering shadows for reality. Sound familiar? You grow up, go to school, get a job, follow the rules. You think you're making your own choices. But are you? Or are you just watching shadows dance on a wall, thinking they're real? Now, I'm not saying we're literally plugged into machines. I'm saying your beliefs, your identity, your story might not be yours at all. You've been fed scripts since birth, who to be, what to want, what to fear. And you bought it. We all did. That's the scary part. The system doesn't need to control your body. It just needs your mind. Here's the twist. It's comfortable in the cave. It's warm, familiar. Walking out into the light? That hurts. Your eyes burn. You question everything. But once you see the truth, really see it, you can't go back. So let me ask you this. What if the world out there, the one you've never questioned, is just a beautifully polished lie? And what if waking up means destroying everything you thought was true? Because that's where we're headed next. We're going to peel back the layers. And what we'll find underneath, it won't be pretty, but it will be real. Why doesn't society want you awake? Simple. Because awake people are dangerous. You can't control someone who thinks for themselves. You can't manipulate someone who asks why, instead of just saying okay. So instead, you're fed comfort. Routine. A steady drip of distractions. TikTok, Netflix, endless news cycles. Anything to keep your mind numb and your eyes off the bigger picture. Think about it. You're praised for following the script. Get good grades, get a job, buy stuff, obey, smile, don't rock the boat. But what if that script wasn't written with your freedom in mind, but your obedience? Society builds systems, education, media, even language, not to empower you, but to keep you asleep. It's like being stuck in a dream where everything feels just real enough that you never question it. That's not by accident. That's design. Philosopher Michel Foucault wrote about this. How power hides in plain sight. It's not just in governments or police. It's in the way you think, the way you speak, even the way you see yourself. That's how deep the illusion runs. You don't need chains if the prison is inside your mind. And here's the wild part. Most people like it this way. Freedom is terrifying. It's messy, lonely. It demands responsibility. But comfort? Comfort is easy, predictable, numb. So ask yourself, are you really living or just sleepwalking through someone else's dream? Because if you're ready to wake up, we've got more to uncover. And it only gets more uncomfortable from here. Humans have always suspected something's off. Long before computers, long before sci-fi, people looked around and thought, this can't be all there is. Shamans entered trance states to pierce the veil. Mystics spoke of waking up from the dream of the world. Ancient Hindus called it Maya, the illusion that hides the true nature of reality. This isn't new, it's ancient. We've been trying to wake up for thousands of years. Plato, back in 380 BCE, gave us the allegory of the cave, where people live chained, staring at shadows, completely unaware there's a world beyond the wall. Sound familiar? It's exactly the premise behind The Matrix, centuries before Neo ever chose the red pill. In China, Zhuangzi asked, "Am I a man dreaming I'm a butterfly, or a butterfly dreaming I'm a man?" These weren't metaphors. They were serious questions. What is real? Can we even trust our senses? And now, in the age of tech, we've just repackaged the same suspicion. Elon Musk says there's a 1 in billions chance we're not living in a simulation. Philosopher Nick Bostrom argues that if a civilization can run simulations, they almost certainly will, and we're probably inside one. But strip away the jargon, and it's the same gut instinct we've always had. The jobs, the ads, the politics, the grind, can't be it. Here's the mind-bending part. Maybe our confusion isn't a glitch. Maybe it's the one thing that's real. That nagging feeling, that sense you're meant for something more, that the world is too scripted, too smooth, that might be your only true signal. So no, this isn't some trendy what-if idea. It's humanity's oldest suspicion. And the fact that it keeps coming back, generation after generation, that should tell you something. Because the next question is, why do we keep forgetting? And who benefits from our forgetting? Let's get into that. Plato's cave. Escaping the shadow world. Imagine being born in a cave. Not metaphorically, literally. You've been there your whole life, chained to a wall, unable to move your head. All you can see are shadows cast on the wall in front of you, created by objects passing in front of a fire behind you. Those shadows? That's your entire reality. You name them, fear them, build your beliefs around them, because you don't know anything else. That's Plato's allegory of the cave. And it's not just a story, it's a warning. Because here's the twist. You're one of those prisoners, so am I. So is almost everyone you know. Now imagine one day you break free. You turn around. At first the fire blinds you. Then you see the objects behind you. It's shocking. You've been duped. But it doesn't stop there. You climb out of the cave into the sunlight. And it hurts. The real world is raw, overwhelming, chaotic. But slowly, you start to see clearly. You realize everything you believed before was just shadows. That's what the Matrix is really about. Neo isn't just dodging bullets in slow motion. He's waking up in a world that's nothing like he was taught. And like Plato's escaped prisoner, when he tries to go back and tell the others, they don't want to hear it. They fight him. Because the truth is terrifying. Most people today live in a shadow world. Not chained in a cave, but chained by routine, comfort, screens, and stories they never chose. They call it reality, but it's just what they've been shown. Comfortable lies are easier than painful truths. So the real question isn't what the cave is. It's whether you're ready to leave it. Because once you see the light, once you wake up, there's no going back. And not everyone wants to leave. In fact, some will do anything to stay. Let's talk about them next. Zhuangzi's dream. Are you even awake? Zhuangzi once dreamt he was a butterfly, carefree, floating on the breeze, totally unaware of being human. But then he woke up, or thought he did. And here's the question that's haunted people for over 2,000 years. Was he a man dreaming he was a butterfly, or a butterfly dreaming he was a man? It sounds poetic, almost whimsical, but don't let that fool you. This is one of the most radical challenges to our idea of reality. Because Zhuangzi wasn't just asking about dreams, he was pointing out that what we call reality might be just another layer of illusion, a dream within a dream. See, in the West, we're obsessed with finding one solid, objective truth, something fixed, something certain. But Zhuangzi's dream flips that on its head. What if there is no solid ground to stand on? What if you, your identity, your story, your memories are just fragments of a larger dream you've mistaken for truth? You're taught that waking up means opening your eyes in the morning. But what if it's the other way around? What if the dream is this whole performance? The meetings, the scrolling, the social masks, and you've never truly woken up at all? That's the unsettling beauty of Zhuangzi's question. It doesn't give you an answer. It just puts a crack in your certainty, a whisper of doubt. And sometimes, that's all it takes to start waking up. Because if reality is just a dream, who's the dreamer? And what happens when they start to stir? Descartes' demon, the mind trap. Descartes sat alone in a room and asked the most uncomfortable question imaginable. What if everything I believe is a lie? Not just a few things, everything. What if there's some powerful force, a demon he called it, whose sole purpose is to deceive you, to manipulate your senses, distort your thoughts, feed you falsehood so perfectly that you never realize it's happening? That wasn't just paranoia. It was philosophy at its most raw. Descartes wanted truth. Solid, unshakable truth. But when he stripped away everything, his senses, his memories, even the outside world, he realized one terrifying thing. The only thing he could know for sure was that he was thinking. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Now fast forward to today. We don't need demons anymore. We have something better. Algorithms. Social media feeds you exactly what you want to see, tailored to your fears, your biases, your blind spots. Fake news spreads faster than facts. Deepfakes blur the line between real and artificial. Your entire digital world can be constructed like a dream. Comforting, convincing, completely curated. And you won't question a thing. Here's the trap. If your mind can be fooled and your world is built on those thoughts, what's real anymore? You trust your eyes, but your screen lies. You trust your gut, but your gut's been trained by years of manipulated content. It's not a demon whispering lies. It's the perfect simulation of truth. Descartes feared an evil being pulling the strings. Today, it's more subtle. A system designed to entertain, pacify, and sell. And the scariest part? It works. So how do you escape a trap that's built inside your own mind? First, you have to question everything, especially the things you're most sure of. Because certainty, that's how the illusion survives. Baudrillard, living inside hyperreality. Welcome to hyperreality, where the copy becomes more real than the original, and nobody notices the difference. Philosopher Jean Baudrillard called it the desert of the real. Sounds dramatic, right? But look around, we're living in it. Baudrillard argued that modern life isn't built on reality, it's built on simulations. Not lies exactly, but representations of things that no longer have any connection to truth. Think about fast food ads, perfect burgers, flawless lighting, zero mess. That's not food, it's an idea of food. Or Instagram, filtered bodies, curated lifestyles, fake smiles, not real life, a polished echo of it. Over time, these copies pile up. They replace reality with something smoother, more marketable, easier to consume. We stop asking what's real and just accept the simulation. And that's exactly what The Matrix is built on. In fact, the movie directly references Baudrillard. There's even a copy of his book, Simulacra and Simulation, hidden in Neo's apartment. The film isn't just about machines, it's about perception, about waking up in a world where the simulation has become so seamless, so seductive, you don't even want the truth anymore. Baudrillard's warning wasn't that we're being lied to, it's that we no longer care. The spectacle is good enough. The copy is comforting. Why dig deeper when the surface is so addictive? So ask yourself, are you living or just watching a high-def version of life, edited for your enjoyment? Because once you see the simulation, once you really see it, there's no going back. And the desert of the real, it's not out there. It's right here, hiding behind the screens. The modern Matrix, simulation theory. What if you're not in the world but rendered into it? That's not sci-fi, it's serious philosophy and cutting-edge science. Thinkers like Nick Bostrom and Elon Musk have taken the old "is this real?" question and plugged it into the motherboard. Here's the core idea, boiled down. If a future civilization can run ultra-realistic simulations, ones where conscious beings like us exist, then it's likely they'll run lots of them, maybe millions, which means the chances that we are the one real world are tiny. Odds are, we're just one of the simulations, a copy inside a copy. Elon Musk puts it bluntly, there's a 1 in billions chance we're living in base reality. Translation? You're probably inside a hyper-advanced video game right now, just really detailed. Think about it. Video games were blocks and pixels 40 years ago. Now we've got VR headsets and AI characters. Fast forward a few centuries, simulations could be indistinguishable from real life, including you, your thoughts, your memories. And here's the mind bender. You'd never know. Because every part of your experience, from the smell of coffee to the sting of heartbreak, could be perfectly coded. So, are you real? Or just real enough to believe you are? Let's keep going. Because it gets even weirder. So how do you wake up from the Matrix? No pills, no dramatic escape scenes. Just one hard truth. It starts with your mind. Waking up isn't about unplugging from machines. It's about breaking free from the invisible scripts running your life. And here's the thing. No one's going to do it for you. You've got to choose it. First step, question everything. The news you scroll past, the ads shoved in your face, the values you were taught to chase, success, beauty, status. Who benefits from you believing those things? Who profits from your self-doubt? If the answer isn't you, maybe it's time to pull the thread. Second, resist comfort as the default. The Matrix thrives on routine. Mindless consumption, numbing entertainment. It keeps you pacified, distracted, compliant. Start noticing the patterns. What are you doing out of habit, not intention? What are you accepting just because it's normal? And finally, build your mind. Critical thinking is your weapon. Read, reflect, sit with uncomfortable truths. You don't have to reject everything, but you do have to question it. Start asking why, and don't stop when the answers feel convenient. Because here's the raw truth. Most people don't want to wake up. It's easier to stay plugged in. But you're here. You're already asking the hard questions. That's the beginning. Waking up isn't a single moment. It's a process. A decision you make every day To see clearly, to live intentionally, to stop sleepwalking through a world designed to keep you quiet. So, are you ready to open your eyes? Or do you still prefer the dream? If reality is fake, now what? That's the uncomfortable part no one talks about. Because once you see through the illusion, once you realize the system is built on shadows, simulations, and stories, you can't just go back to life as usual. So what does that mean for you? If the job title, the brand names, the likes and followers, if none of it's real in the way you thought, then what's actually worth chasing? Here's the scary and liberating truth. If the matrix is fake, then you get to decide what's real. Your choices, your values, your attention, they become sacred. Because in a world full of noise and manipulation, consciously choosing what matters is an act of rebellion, love, courage, curiosity, integrity. These aren't just words. They're the raw materials of something deeper, something that feels real, even when everything else doesn't. But don't get it twisted. This isn't about escaping society or going off the grid. It's about showing up awake, living with your eyes open, refusing to run on autopilot, questioning not just the system, but yourself. Because if the world's a dream, you might as well become a lucid dreamer. So, now that you've seen through the veil, what will you do with your freedom? That's the real question, and only you can answer it.